Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deadman run. I did a bunch of stuff off camera just waiting for the time of the day to get a little bit nicer. It's still pretty darn cold out there. So just about to leave. Pretty much out of easy food. We've got our cattails and stuff. So it's still like, minus 21, feels like minus 21 in the wind. Out of the wind, it's minus 16, which is a bit more acceptable. But we're going to head back to the ravine, cook up the last of our deer, try and get out of here. I'm not going to worry about the wolf skin there. We've got ones that are probably close to cured now anyway. It's going to be a rigmarole trying to make enough for a second set, so we're not going to have that be a thing. Now, can I be out of the wind a bit more? Yeah, still freaking cold. I do want to get the last kilo of meat off this deer here, but I think I do want to warm up a tiny bit first. And our condition's going okay because we've been slamming back the birch bark teas. Let's get a little jog on. I did see Raph had said at some point that sprinting and stuff does do a little bit of actual warming you up under the hood. Not like massively, but just enough. And it doesn't present it to the UI in any way. I think much like the way the teas... Hey, there's that well-fed bonus. That's good. Just as we're about to get hungry again. Because that works. I will probably eat a couple of cattail stalks before we finish up cooking the rest of our deer. We just get the cooking on the go now. Yeah, maybe we'll do it that way. There should be 2 pieces of raw meat out there, I think. If we warm up enough, we can go and grab the other bits. But yeah, much like the teas, when you make a warming tea, it doesn't present you how it's affecting your warmth. You still see 3 bars down. It doesn't. Nothing changes your feels like temperature, but it just affects the speed at which that's multiplied on or something. Just do that for the moment. Okay. Both 900? Oh, you're both 900. It's good. Yeah. Should probably do something like check if there's anything on this. I wouldn't have thought there's anything on that rabbit. That's just the hide. Nah. Yeah. Just trying to think about how we gotta get back to all our hides without freezing to death. 200 calories. I think I better just... we've got our well-fed. The other one's just our little bait piece. I'll actually drop that out there so I remember I've got that on. So I wander around with it without being deliberate about it. So we need to get this cooked up. We need to get the other piece. Should do some stuff. Nah. Might actually make up a coffee or two when I can. So yeah, might need some of those just for extra warming. Probably should do one more trek around for the birch bark on the way back out. So on the actual forums, there's a Drifterman is a person who seems to have done pretty well at Deadman, the original, and since the birch bark as well. Made it past 100 days a couple of times, etc. Does become pretty grueling. Like I think even with the birch bark, it's sort of hit a point now in this that it's sort of hit that tedium part, which I think every long game in the long dark kind of does. But particularly with Deadman, when some of the things seem a little bit futile to run around and, you know, just have to sit in a cave until you're warm enough to be able to move, because otherwise you would just die. It doesn't make the mode have huge amounts of longevity. I mean, I'm a big fan of the starts. I don't have many very long runs going, kind of ever. I think the longest run I've had is probably like 150 days kind of mark, and I think it's actually still open, like still valid, sitting there as a save. I just sort of abandon it and get a little bit bored. Part of that's probably because I haven't preferenced. Let's move away from the fire a little bit for the audio. Haven't preferenced things like the bearskin coat and double wolfskin coat, so I'm usually running around cold, just kind of feeling that level of boredom. But so the other run I'm doing parallel to this, which if you're watching this you're probably aware of because you see stuff from my channel, the other mode is the Naked and Afraid challenge, which I think is actually it's actually kind of cool because it sort of forced me to craft things that I wouldn't normally. Let's get enough on there. Just a few sticks. 40 minutes. I'm just going to drink this some extra warmth. So we'll need half an hour. I think I can afford to take one torch out. Again, just for a little bit of warmth, just to get close to this damn deer. Fire will probably just go out by the time I've harvested those, so I might mock up the timing a little bit because it'll take half an hour. There's probably only half an hour left. Ah, the deer carcass is gone. I missed that extra kilo. Oh well. Gone, never to return. After he took the skin off, it just disappeared. Alright. Fair enough. That's my fault. I think this game in general feels pretty balanced, I think, in terms of some of the stuff, but then it's 2 deer again. Excuse me, just had to sneeze. Hopefully that didn't blow everyone's ears off in the microphone. I was saying, it tends to feel fairly balanced in most of its mechanisms, but then there's a few that just feel really out of whack. That, in a case in point, like I left that deer too long, so I lost the meat off it. You know, that's my fault. That's something that, you know, feels genuinely you know, like they got the mix right of, you know, when it's the game trying to screw you over versus when it's like, oh no, that's my bad, you know, like That stuff sort of feels right. I feel like the looting feels pretty right. I mean, obviously, the longer you play the game, you wanna do interloper and stuff like that, and because there's too much loot. But I think the danger of a looting game is it kind of feels like just grind after grind for kind of nothing. But in a game like this, you want there to be that sparseness and feel the reward when you actually find something cool. And I feel like in general the game's got that really well. When I first started playing this, it came from playing some other games where the grind was just tedious and annoying, and you felt like you almost had like a second job, but a crappy second job. You come home and play a video game and effectively just do chores. It's like, yeah, that doesn't feel like good play balance to me. Whereas I always felt like the Long Dark got that pretty right. But then some of the play mechanics just don't really feel that that they're out of whack. One of them a little bit is the weather. Fair enough, I'm playing on Deadman, so the weather variability is kind of whack. But yeah, in the long game, like other people have made the same criticisms. Like there's kind of nothing to do, and it's just the weather being just constantly the same kind of brutalness, and you just kind of end up having to do trudge to get past it and do stuff, whereas it's not really a challenge, it's just more like a chore. And that's kind of where I think those things fall apart a little bit. And I mean, my kind of personal bugbear, I might actually just do a bunch of these for a little bit. I want to make up some more teas, so get these going. And yeah, so my personal bugbear is the sprain mechanic. Even though they reinvented it for the Steadfast Ranger update, like I think the logic they're working with for what they're trying to achieve with the game is what's flawed. Like, and they just did it around with the mechanisms of it, but they didn't really rethink the core logic of why it's in the game. And this is a personal opinion. Like, they can do what they want; it's their game. But I don't see what value it adds. It's like, in some ways, they got the mechanisms really perfect between this like punishment reward kind of thing, but the sprains just feels like all punishment. Like, you need to play the game and go the routes we want you to take and force you to have wolf encounters and all these things, and not allowing other people to sort of choose their own adventure and do a bit more free roam. It kind of feels like a really bad idea against the freedoms of the game. Like, I mean, I get that there has to be a risk versus reward for everything, but at the rate that I kind of get sprains traipsing over things, and even when not encumbered, like, you just go up there's certain steep hills in this game where it just is ridiculous that it seems like you have a stupidly high chance of getting a sprain. It does feel out of whack. It feels out of balance to me. And like, I'd much rather have, like, if you're going up hills and mountain goating and stuff, like your exhaustion just plummets faster. Like, I mean, I already feel like that's the trade-off that they're balancing, is like, your stamina versus your calories, versus how much that eats into, your energy levels. Like, surely that is a big enough punishment, and/or, you could have you still have a sprain risk, but it should be for when you actually do something stupid and dangerous. Like, if you fall off something, you jump off a rock avoiding a wolf, yeah, you should have a pretty decent chance of spraining. It shouldn't be 100%. It should still be like a risk. You get the bruising and the torn clothing and the sprain. Like, that feels like it was something I did that caused this to happen. Whereas just traipsing over terrain and having a dice roll like that just doesn't feel measured. It doesn't feel. Yeah, it massively feels out of whack to me. I'm just cooking all my stuff and just rambling on a little bit. Probably should have done this in the last episode when we were just like landlocked, because we probably got some okay weather out there and we probably need to get going. We're going to run out of calories too, so... Yeah, excuse me for sniffling as well. Just going to drop these couple of hot ones, just to keep them warm long enough. Alright, so add a stick so I can take out a torch. No, that's pretty poor. I'll drink a reishi and drink a bowl. We got plenty of medicine. Get that, get that, and get that. We'll just pick up a few sticks. So we heavy? We're not even remotely heavy, so I'm probably not really coming back here, so I'm fine to... They're 50%, I'm not really going to bother. No, we're going to drop that. Maybe bring the cured the hide with us? Okay, we're a tiny bit heavy now. See, now it's ludicrous. Ludicrous weather again. You know what, I'm just going to get to the other dam. That's gone out already. Just going to get to the other cave. Real. Another blizzard in as many days kind of thing. But yeah, as you can probably tell, like the spraying mechanic is probably my least favorite thing in the game. And maybe these things are a little bit different at the other difficulty levels, like maybe because I pretty much play, you know, interloper and only interloper. I'm just going to wait for my sprint meter to come up a little bit here while I'm not stupidly freezing to death. I'd rather eke it out slowly and then be able to sprint over there in a second. But yeah, like, maybe it's because it's interloper and we're apparently such a small percentage of the players that some of these things are just dialed up differently and other people experience it vastly differently. Hey, there's a rabbit. I probably should have grabbed that. Probably really should grab that. Hey dear, you coming to save your buddy or just maybe gloat, mock him? We're actually not losing heat too badly, even though we're out in the cold, but just let the sprint meter build up again and don't tap it out too badly. Probably grab these two sticks, but not double back for the other one. Trying to think what other game mechanics in here are a bit out of whack. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of mainly how the weather brutalizes you at certain points, but without kind of having a personality. Like, I think people have suggested, like, you know, it should be like, weather should be more normal, but more readable weather patterns. So then it is that thing about your skill in the game to be able to judge what the weather is going to do and be able to read that and all kinds of cool things like that. Like, I think that would be pretty meaningful. Pop that while we're hanging out in here. So we got all this stuff to get back. Got another cured maple, Cured birch, we got the cured guts, cured rabbit, all these other cured guts, like just ready to go back and help us make some more things. You're a burning book, aren't you? Yep, you're a burning book. I mean, I love the new cooking system. I felt that that came in pretty good. Like this idea you could multitask and, you know, you've got to be on your game to be able to cook and go and do other things. But, you know, previously when you just had to cook and waste time doing that, like it you know, it was fine. But once they added being able to do this and do other things, I think it freed up the game quite a lot. But yeah, some of the other things just feel like they restrict you rather than let you go out and use your skills against the environment and the world. I don't know, let me know if you guys have a different opinion on my little ramble. And don't get me wrong, I genuinely love this game. This is pretty much any game I play at the moment. I think I understand the sentiment of once you kind of reached kind of a level in the game when you understand it fairly well, like some of the problems maybe fairly glaring omissions in it. I don't want to be too harsh on this game or the devs. I mean, they're an indie developer. You know, it is hard to do these kinds of things, put them out into a marketplace where, you know, everyone's running on different hardware and all of that kind of stuff. But sometimes I maybe feel like, you know, Church in Little here, we're going to get ridiculously tired. We should do this. Yeah, we should do this now. Drop that rabbit and we'll harvest it later if and when we need dinner. I'm talking too much and not concentrating on what I probably need to do in the game. We'll just sleep for 3 hours. We might push on in the night time if the weather's fine. Just to get to some more shelter. Yeah, they sometimes just, maybe they lost sight of the forest for the trees. And I don't think it's helped necessarily by having kind of two versions of the game to try and have to do. I mean, their dream side really was to make the story game, and the sandbox was kind of like a happy accident, and just happens to turn out that so many of us, you know, really love the sandbox mode. Like, you know, it's still faster with the knife, wasn't it? Oh, but we probably got the time to do it by hand. It's fine. Like, yeah, a lot of us like the sandbox mode. Probably more than the story mode. And I like the story mode fine. It is fine, but I did fall in love with the sandbox mode. And this is what drew me to the game. But yeah, because they've been a small team trying to divide a little bit between these sort of two masters, I think there's this kind of mix of that, and slightly cursed by the duration that it has taken to get the game out. Yeah, it sort of puts him in the spotlight for quite a lot of criticism, and so, you know, some of it's warranted, some of it's not as much warranted. I don't know. I probably had a point when I started this part of the conversation, but I'm not entirely sure what that was. It's probably still ridiculously cold out there. I'm just trying not to get so terribly landlocked in here. If this was Interloper, I'd just be taken off, but I mean, in the wind shade, it's minus 11, which is, it's kind of not too bad, but we got some pretty ridiculous distances to cover. Just wondering whether or not do I cook all this stuff up now and go now with some warm teas and the rest of the food eaten, or, you know, do I push on, or do I just sleep and try and push on in the morning? It's such a dream trying to make this happen at the moment. You know what? I've probably been too conservative, really, with this game mode. Like, especially with the birch bark, we kind of do all right. We can probably afford to make a few mistakes than we've been, that I've allowed to sort of creep in. I'll make up a couple, at least one of the coffees in case we get too exhausted, but. Cook up those. Don't think we've got anything else productive we can do. Did mention about making some coffee. I think we've only got like 3 of them we can make or something like that, but can't really take it with you, so how are we sitting here? Like, we're 46. I mean, I'd originally said we were probably going to go to day 50, but I was also trying to, you know, make it happen that we've got these wolfskin coats so we could actually get out and do stuff, and we've kind of just limped on through to the end. Might actually put that down as the potential warm one, but I'll drop a couple of other things as well. Huh. You guys are warming, you're warming and all of that. Got one more coffee as well. What's our carry capacity? See, we're in the well-fed bonus part, but we're under capacity, and that's going to make it kind of tricky to leave now. Oh, we offer water. We had plenty. What I'll do. Still trying to have some ambitions of going. I just want to be a little bit more rested. That was like the 99 calorie piece. We got a whole bunch of stuff to drag out of here. I don't think we can really do that if we're super encumbered. And I don't know if that'll get us the 5 bonuses we have at the moment. I think if I add one more stick, that'll probably get that leader boiled. Not burnt out, hopefully. It'll probably burn off. We'll see how we go. I am actually just going to sleep 3 or 4 hours, and just the weather might be shocking, in which case we'll stay. We'll sleep. We might have to sleep till morning. Have to heat all that back up again in the morning, but we'll sleep. I was gonna do it. I was gonna take off, but hey, there's all that weather we didn't want. I just didn't want to have to drag everyone along with me, complaining about headwinds and going super slow because we just had, you know, 0, you know, carry capacity. Starts at 11. Try and sleep for 4 more hours and probably not get frozen in. Gonna guess it's pretty cold out there. Now we've read all our books. We have absolutely done that. Let's play the game of how heavy will we be with all our stuff. We'll pick you up. Do we have an additional pry bar? Probably should pick that up. We came here originally for all that cured gut. What are we now? 31 kilos. Which means we could probably afford to take more coal, because that's always awesome to have. I only got 3 sticks, so you're a 40% torch that I've left here at some point. 22. You are a 10. So we're gonna make some sticks. Okay. 8 degrees in here. Which probably means it's like minus 20 out there. What does it normally end up being? Minus 19 in the wind shade. Out of the wind shade, minus 22. It's actually not that bad in the morning, to be honest. Will we get a better deal? Probably not going to get a better deal, to be honest. And I don't want to waste too much more time. Fail to fire for a little while. Is it quicker if I go back? No, I gotta cycle through everything. Oh yeah, so while I'm bitching about gameplay mechanics, I did think of another one actually. Not a fan of cabin fever risk, but it's kind of a nothing thing now anyway. Like once you kind of learn to deal with it, it's kind of fine. But it's still this strange punishing mechanic when it kind of punishes you for playing the game sometimes. Not, I believe they brought it in originally to stop people kind of hibernating when they had like this high score table, and since then it's kind of, I think the idea of it's fine, like having this idea that if you're doing kind of boring indoor things and just sort of camping, that there should be something to go and drive you in. But what ends up realistically happening is you get locked in by a blizzard for 2 or 3 days or something like that, and you just, you know, end up getting cabin fever risk, even though you've potentially been keeping yourself occupied and doing a whole bunch of things. So yeah, just it's kind of a kind of nothing scenario. I'll leave 2 sticks in case we needed it another time. Try and remember to take our skin over there. Let's give it a little bit more floor time. Damn, it's super foggy out there. But so all of those are hot. That's done. Pick up our pot. We will be over once we pick this up, I think. Once we pick up all these other teas and stuff, so maybe we'll drop a piece of cedar. Definitely got my bedroll right. Cool. Drink the herbal tea. And we take one torch. Hey, it's a good one too. I'd take more, but I don't want the weight. Alright. So it kind of did get a bit colder. It's minus 17. Hey, rabbit. Normally I would take you and eat you, especially things we don't have a ready supply of food waiting for us at the other end, so we're going to have to, you know, take down a deer again or something like that. I've got a few little pockets of food lying around, but I can't remember what I've left where. So yeah, minus 20, but the hot drink is really helping. Like, it's such a big difference, I believe. And the torch, the flaming torch is helping as well. Didn't bring my decoy, but last little piece of meat, oh well. I don't really want to stop and get more sticks. So I still need to get 2 hides from the fishing huts and take them back to the Cinder Hills coal mine. So I've got to figure out my path to get that way. We I actually think what I will do is make my way to the little secret hut, which I never remember what it's called. Dump the stuff. It's a short trip to the fishing cabins from there, rather than go through the bare campgrounds and stuff. Because I think there's a ready supply of food kind of in that other hut. Now, granted, I do have to kind of sneak past some wolves potentially. Kind of wish I could remember. Alright, so I drink one more of my hot teas. What did I actually have? Is that hot? That's hot. We'll drink you while you're still hot. So yeah, if I go straight to the fishing camp, you know, I haven't had much luck with the fishing. The fish are pretty few and far between on the Deadman I'm finding. There's not other food easily down there. I think I can easily get either a rabbit or another deer. The hut I'm thinking of. Just whether or not those 2 wolves are hanging out by that bridge still. Do I need to consider using a flare on them? Any of that kind of jazz. And I just sneak past like I have before. Definitely none of our meat left. Noisy waterfall, we'll try and get past that. mainly lighting this just in case. It's one of those rare chances where the wolf is right here. I don't think really happens, but I guess it could. I don't want to be on a dregs level torch. Even you can't hear anything over that damn waterfall. Just going to duck in here for a quick warm up. There's nothing to get away from the sound. Pretty sure nothing is in here. As in, we already looted it completely, and I wouldn't have thought we missed anything the first time. No, we do need to warm up anyway. We will just put that out actually though. I might actually just sleep in the bed. Preserve the calories a little bit, warm up. See if the weather decides to play nice with us at all. Oh, I probably could have dropped that deer hide while we did this. I wonder how far through that deer hide is. You normally live 63% cured. Alright, so let's duck out here. I mean, it's cold and we're out of all the warming ups. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if you can kind of punk it by going this way. You kind of can. So last time I came through here, the wolves were right here. I might have very well gone this exact same route on a previous playthrough and just forgot about it, because you kind of so yeah, those guys can be right here. And they can also be so gonna. Now I've complained about sprains, I'm so gonna get one here. The wolves cannot be on this little bit of a hill just here as well. So that's the hut we want to go back to. There is also this trailer right here. Which we didn't get into before because it was protected at the time by the wolves. Getting cold too quick, but too long. Oh, one of those played a game of wolf or stump and thought it was a wolf. That made me freak out for a second. So yeah, we haven't looted this yet. Not that there's usually much here. Oh, here's some beef jerky. And it's new. Is it simple Parker? Not that we need it. Now we're heavy as well. Okay. So probably just eat that beef jerky right now. those beds. Okay, nothing up top. Not that we'd need it. I'll just... Nah, we'll sleep for now. If I need to loop, I wouldn't, because I'd want to be tired at the end of the day, but... This scenario, like, it's getting tired so quick. Now, it sounds like a blizzard, but it's probably a perfect time to sprint to the other spot, because there won't be any wolves out. Probably not out of the wind at the moment. Oh no, we are a little bit. Okay, so downside of the blizzard, apart from the noise, will be that we're probably not going to find any. You're tiny, aren't you? 167 calories, 5 calories, moldy rabbit, 420. So you are. Oh, we're getting cold. I should get inside. There's stuff there though. There is a little bit of food to help us bide our time. I will keep that one as a bit of bait. I'll drop that out in a second. Some more cured gut. Let's quickly drop deer hide. Okay, so what else can we or should we drop? Let's harvest that while we get warm. So most of our weight is all of these things. Tend to spend a bit of time here, so we can drop a couple of pieces of. There's plenty of coal actually up in the mine, so we'll just keep one piece on us, and that'll drop our weight, and we'll have more fuel here closer. So in fact, we'll probably also just drop 10 sticks. All right, now are we going to get? I've done that thing where I completely dropped everything on the wrong thing. So the easiest way to see kind of how many things we've got is almost to count it from here. Not that we need. We've already got the hat and the mitts, I believe. Look at the hats, look at the mitts. So the rabbit stuff is more maybe we could repair. It's probably not quite worth doing yet. That's 1.25 kilos, so let's drop that and leave that here. I need to use more water. Back in the crafting. Well, we don't have any deer hides on us, but we've got 10 guts on us. The wolfskin coat It's a marathon build. It does use the knife, and we need to make sure our knife is in okay condition, so we can do that while we're waiting. It's brutal on the knife, I've found. Do I drop these things all here, go and race down and try and get those other wolf skins now, even though the weather's kind of crappy? Should have done it from here. How many kilos of wolf skins do we have down there? Kind of tempted to just try and race it now. We probably will get a little cold, but we've kind of got okay condition to put in. Maybe heading into... it's just going to be ridiculous. If it wasn't a headwind, I maybe would have thought about it. I just sleep for an hour and see if it blows itself away. It has not. More knife sharpening it is then. Maybe it's a tailwind blizzard. No, it's still going to be in my face getting to the huts. That'll be brutal. Get these worth repairing yet. What was... Oh, I just click on that was 70. Yeah, 77. It'll be order. Never know if the order of that works. Extra 0.1 of a degree to be grabbed out of that, but it's not really worth it. Come on, wind, just change slightly. Last time for now. Come on, hut. You're a blizzard trap. This is me. Partly I just need to cook up some rabbit, and partly also if I put the fire on this side, it might change direction and be a tailwind, and I might chance it that way. I don't know. We'll see. But I still need to cook those leftover bits of rabbit or I'm going to get hungry before too long. It's reclaimed inside, so we'll chuck that on. Oh yeah, you're the baked piece. Let's just put you where you're a bit more visible. How long till we can add a piece of coal? 12 more minutes. We'll be cold by then. Tell you what, I'm just going to go inside. And should have one more set of these. It'll be 15 minutes. Go back outside and find out if it's either blown out or cooked. Oh, it's tried. It's tried to blow it out. Take 5 minutes. Hey, you might just get there. We are not wind protected here at all, that is for sure. I'm just going to take those inside. The downside is I didn't get those teas warm enough to really get use of it. They got warm enough. I didn't get warm enough to be able to take them when I'm already completely warm, which is pain. So how big were you? You were 74. You were 74. Ah, that's going to eat you. Oh, no. That's going to eat you. Now, it was a tailwind, but now I'm too cold. I spent too much time by the fire and didn't get warm because it was a terrible mistake on my behalf. Won't get very warm doing that, and my drinks will get cold. Yeah, the drinks last long enough at 15 degrees. It's still hot in the breakers. Just let this go now. And it doesn't make sense, does it? And it's still blowing. I'm gonna do that thing where I check this thing. See how many blizzards we've had. 14 blizzards, 46 days. That's not too bad. Usually I'm at about one is to two. Blizzard every 2 days. But what it counts as a blizzard and what we might count as a blizzard, kind of two different things. So we rested. Oh, that's actually still hot after an hour. Maybe we just just went cold. So if you see, here's the thing: if you drink it while it's still said that hot, and it was just about to turn cold, do you get the full warming up benefit? Or not? at this point now, I'm just going to sleep for an hour. Trying to be a tiny bit more rested. So there we go. Can we get down to that cabin? Or is it still way too cold? It still kind of sucks. Alright. I'm going to call it here that the episode time is up. So yeah, this will be the end of this episode. So a couple more episodes left of this run, I would say. So yeah, join me in the next one when we try and finally get our wolfskin coat on the go. So thanks everybody. See you next time.